The geography of Vietnam. Vietnam, officially known as the Socialist Republic of Vietnam, is situated on the eastern margin of the Indo-Chinese Peninsula with a land border of 3,730 kilometers. Vietnam shares the border with China to the north, with Laos and Cambodia to the west, with the South China Sea and the Gulf of Tonkin to the east, and with the Gulf of Thailand to the south. The mainland territory of Vietnam is an S-shaped land covering an area of over 331,690 square kilometers, with 75% of the total mainland is mountains and hills, with incredibly breathtaking landscapes. From the north to the south, the territory of Vietnam extends for 1,750 kilometers, and its widest and narrowest territories are 600 kilometers and 50 kilometers wide, respectively. The country is divided into three regions. We have the north, the central, and the south. For northern region of Vietnam, northern Vietnam encompasses some of the oldest cities in the country. Many popular tourist spots can also be found, including Ha Long and Sapa. Hanoi, the capital city of Vietnam, is also located in the northern region. Fertile soil of the Red River allow for an agrarian-based society to develop and prosper. For central region of Vietnam, central Vietnam covers a large area in the center of the country. However, it is in the center the country becomes quite thin. As such, central Vietnam is home to the narrowest point of the country. In some sections, only 50 kilometers separates neighboring country, Laos, from the sea. 1. To the limited land area, most inhabitants are employed in sea-related activities. So for southern region of Vietnam, the southern region is home to the largest city in the country, Ho Chi Minh City or Tan Po Ho Chi Minh, also known as Saigon. The warmer temperatures has also led to the development of resort cities such as Mue Nay in the region. The frontier area is underdeveloped compared to the rest of the country. However, the rich land of the Mekong Delta today makes the area the world's third leading exporter of rice.
Vietnam history. Vietnam has a long-lasting history. Starting from 1,000–2,000 years BC, after experiencing over centuries with many dynasties of Le Tan Le Nguyen, Vietnam became the colony of French. After August Revolution 1945, the Democratic Republic of Vietnam came into being. In 1954, the French colonialism ended the Battle of Dien Bien Phu. However, Vietnam at that time was divided into two separate parts, which is the Democratic Republic of Vietnam in the north and the Republic Vietnam in the south. After 1975, Vietnam was reunified. Since July 2, 1976, the Socialist Republic of Vietnam is the official name of the country. Currently, Vietnam is a socialist state with single political party, the Communist Party of Vietnam. From January 11, 2007, Vietnam officially became the 150th member of the World Trade Organization. On October 16, 2007, At a poll which was placed at the meeting of the United Nations General Assembly in New York, Vietnam was officially elected as non-permanent members of the United Nations Security Council for the 2008 to 2009 term.
Now, we will discuss about the traditions and customs of Vietnamese. Vietnamese ancestors are believed to continue to live in another realm, and that it is the duty of the living beings to meet their needs. In return, the ancestors will give advice and bring good fortune. When visiting Vietnam, many are our travelers and friends who wonder why Vietnamese people burn colored papers. These papers are known as votive papers, which can be houses, clothes, fake money, cars, motorbikes, made of paper. They represent gifts for their ancestors. After being burnt, a little wine is sprinkled upon the ashes, so that the spirits can ascend to heaven and bring gifts for the ancestors to use them. In popular Vietnamese culture, the animistic folk religions were melded with, rather than supplanted by religions such as Hinduism, Buddhism, Confucianism, Taoism, or Christianism. Animists believe that souls or spirits exist in non-human entities as well as in humans, and that all phenomena and forces in the universe are controlled by spirits and the souls of the dead, being both instrumental in determining an individual's fate.
In addition to Vietnam's culture and traditions, they have the so-called god of wealth worship in business. According to their principle, they place altars in front of their houses, restaurants, or sometimes in hotels or any other shops that can be found in Vietnam, in honor to their god of wealth who was Tan Thai, as a source of their fortune. Another is visiting the pagoda by the beginning of the year. During springtime, Vietnamese visit the pagodas and temples to pray for health, peace, and happiness, allowing people for a moment of leaving all their difficulties in their lives, as well as feeling all together with the harmony of heaven and earth. The last one is the Lunar New Year, or the Tet holiday in Vietnam. The Vietnamese New Year takes place from the first day of the first month of their lunar calendar for at least 3 days. This is around late January or early February. It is a joyful family reunion and the desire of a coming year full of happiness, prosperity, and goodness.
Vietnamese is the official language. English is increasingly favored as a second language. French, Chinese, Khmer, and various Highlander languages and also is spoken. Between 85% and 90% of Vietnam's residents are ethnically Vietnamese, while Vietnamese is the singular official and national language of the country. There are 110 officially recognized dialects and languages spoken in Vietnam, maintaining the vast linguistic diversity of the country. Can you live in Vietnam with English? Two of the most popular neighborhoods with English-speaking expats include Tay Ho in Hanoi, and Binh Tan in Ho Chi Minh City. Once you are a bit more settled, you might find life in other cities appealing, especially those on Vietnam's beautiful coast. Do Vietnam speaks English languages? In tourist centers, many Vietnamese will speak some English, but a lot will speak none. In more remote areas, English speakers can very rare. Some older Vietnamese will speak more French than English.
A pleasant day to everyone. I'm Regine Vermilio, and in my part, I will discuss the different languages used in Vietnam and the bilingual education in Vietnam. Vietnamese is the national and official language of Vietnam. The language is divided into three dialects. The first one is the Northern. It is spoken in and around Hanoi. The second one is Central, Ho, and the third one is Southern, Ho Chi Minh City. English is a foreign language in Vietnam, with no official status in government and law. Within the country, English is the language that Vietnamese use to communicate with foreigners who come to Vietnam on holiday or to work or study. English is currently the most popular foreign language taught and learned in Vietnam. Strengthened bilingual education in 1961 to 1987. Between 1961 to 1987, strengthened bilingual education was implemented alternatively with Tai Nung Vietnamese language from 1962 to 1978 in the provinces of Viet Bac Autonomous Region. Hmong Vietnamese language in 1970 to 1978 in Lao Cai, Gia Lo, Ha Giang, as well as Ede Vietnamese, Jerai Vietnamese, and Vanar Vietnamese from 1982 to 1987 in the Central Highlands. Here are the minority languages used in Vietnam. The Thai. Thai is a minority language from northeastern Vietnam. It is spoken by 1.7 million Vietnamese people and it belongs to the Thai family of languages. Cham, a historic language of Vietnamese royalty. It was spoken in the kingdom of Champa in central Vietnam, which existed around 2nd century AD. The third one is Khmer. Khmer is the official language of Cambodia, which is Vietnam's neighbor. Khmer, the official language of Cambodia, finds its home even in parts of Vietnam, where over 1 million of people of the Khmer Krom community know it. And the last one is Muong, a mountainous language in Vietnam. It is an Austroasiatic language spoken by Muong ethnic group of Vietnam. And here are the other Vietnamese languages. Danung, which means a Tai Kadai language spoken in northern Vietnam. And the last one is Hmong. It is part of the Hmong-Mien family of languages. That's all. Thank you.
The first difference between the two developing countries in Southeast Asia is the type of government. Vietnam is still a communist party, while Philippines has become a republic country since the World War. The differences on the government type plays an important role to see how such big players in the Asian countries deal with their economy. The unemployment rate is much higher in the Philippines with 7.1% in contrast to only 2.3% in Vietnam. Similarities between Philippines and Vietnam. Both countries are United Nations members and neither are members of the Security Council. Both countries have a very high in GDP to be showing off, with Vietnam ranking 48 in the world while Philippines as the 39. Major business sectors in Vietnam are a construction industry, with 40% of the GDP, services and agricultural with 39% and 20% respectively. Similarly, with Philippines, businesses are mainly operating in services and agriculture.